So here I was looking at this list of credential keys, and I'm like, man, I got to get this cleaned up. Hey friends, Cloud Bart here. I was just taking a break from making some CBT nuggets, and something occurred to me while I was doing one of my little demo lessons. I haven't been checking out my access keys in a while, and I don't really know where my access keys are or who's got one active, what they've been used for, because like over on my operating system here, because yeah, if you take a look over here in my little credentials folder where I keep my working credentials, look at all of these little remnants that I have from projects. I got one here from Keith Barker. I had him doing a project in one of my AWS accounts at one point. I've got his old credentials laying around. Multiple copies of my CBT admin. There's Bart Castle. I don't know what accounts these are associated with. I don't even know exactly when I created them at this point. So here I was looking at this list of credential keys, and I'm like, man, I got to get this cleaned up. So let's take a look at how to get that done. Over here in the Identity and Access Management console, I've jumped down to my users list, and I'm taking a look at my list of users, and it is a lot shorter than all of those credentials were that were sitting in my folder, so I could safely go through and clean up the ones that are not in use in this account anymore. But there are a few that are still in here, and looking at this now, look at this Bart one here. He's been here for 319 days. I don't know where that access key is. I could have left it at a bus stop. I could have left it in a bathroom somewhere. So to get that cleaned up, we can simply jump into the user, and there's Bart. Great. And we'll jump over here to security credentials. And down underneath of this, you can see that they have that access key ID listed. It shows when I created it. So this was almost a whole year ago, back in August. So that's been a while. Over here, it is still active, so that's kind of troubling. Now, this is where you kind of need to make that decision point. Do I need to get rid of the keys? Do I have an application that has the keys embedded in it somewhere? I sure hope not, because if you're following best practices, you shouldn't be burying these credentials around file systems anywhere. But hey, this totally happens. So I'm going to go ahead and say make inactive. This will disable the key, and nobody could use it. If it happened to be out there somewhere, somebody found it at the bus stop where I left it, they try to use something with it, it's not going to work. So I can go in here and I'll just say make inactive. Great. Now this might be a good time to just kind of let that sit and wait for maybe a week or two and see if there's any problems. You could check your CloudTrail logs to see if there's any issues with it. And then when you're done with it, you could go and actually remove the key completely. This, of course, could be done programmatically as well. So from right in here, I could just go in and just hit delete. And they're going to say, are you sure you want to delete this key? I could go ahead and delete it. I'm going to say cancel for now. The other thing I wanted to point out is that if we go back up to the top of the Bart user and we look at Access Advisor on the tab, it shows information about when the keys were used and what they were used for. Now, basically here, you're looking at a tracking period of a year. So they have here data is stored for a maximum of 1 year, 365 days. So they're showing that although I have admin access, which is trouble in the beginning, full admin permissions here, I haven't used this key at all. So nowhere along the way have I used this set of keys. Probably best to go ahead and get those keys disabled. Cool. And then I can kind of just wait and see if there's any problems or any fallout from making that change. And then later on back here in the user's dashboard, I can just do check that Bart user and then hit delete. Along those lines as well, I'm going to go in and clean up my other ones. I got Alan Grant here. This is a little development account that I was doing some work with earlier. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and delete those keys, get them out of there completely, and then jump back over to my CBT admin one. Also, notice here on the main splash page, they're talking about access key age. When was it created? So both of these keys were ones that I worked on earlier today. They also have the password age on here, and they have information about when the last activity was for that user. If I jump into CBT admin and we take a look at Access Advisor, you'll see that today I did use some commands, and even a few days ago, I used my commands and which services those were used on. So I worked with EC2, load balancing, I checked out Identity and Access Management, which is where I am right now. Okay, so I can go back up here to security credentials and just knock those right on out, clean them up. Boom, away they go. And so back over here in my little working folder, I can clean up the ones that I didn't find in my account. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and safely take these out. Keith, I'll build you a new set of credentials if you need them later on there, brother. No problems. We can clean up the Bart one here. Yep, the CBT West ones as well. Alan Grant, CBT admin. Great. So now I'm down to just a handful of little PEM files and PPK files, something that we can take a look at some other time. Now, if I ever need to generate a new set of keys for CBT admin to work with, such as using another demo or getting some other project set up, I can just be right here in the dashboard and say create access key. Great. And then I just download that little CSV file. They'll show you the keys on the screen. And you little clever friends out there who might have noticed these keys, I will go through and remove them by the time you view this, so don't bother trying to use them. Downloading the CSV file allows you to pop that up, and you can kind of see that they've given you that in that kind of programmatically friendly view as well. Easy peasy. I can create a new set of access keys on the command line as well by simply doing AWS IAM create-access keys. Great, and then I just put in a -- user and provide the username. In this case, it was like CBT admin. Great, so there it provides back the secret and access key just like we saw in the management console, ready to go. I can also do a little AWS IAM list - access keys and then put in that same user CBT admin, and it'll give me a recap of the different keys that are currently out there. And again, you get those same basic info, the create date, and you can see that status active. So make sure you keep track of your access keys. They're easy to generate and recreate. Remember that you can deactivate them first and of course delete them later on. If you want to check out more information about my access management best practices, and of course how to use AWS Web Services, come check us out at CBT Nuggets. I hope to see you there.